to episode 1 of the Encore Life. That means like we did really good, but we're going to go out and take another bow. and I'm Bruce Weide. I'm hosting with Linda here. I'm going to let Linda talk about herself in a minute, but we are from Secure Financial Services. We are in Largo, Florida. We do retirement planning, financial planning, estate planning, all these things that are great and deal with financial security. But we really felt the need to turn a corner and add a little bit of broader picture about retirement because there's so many other issues. So you're watching the Encore Life, which is our new podcast. Linda, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Tell us about yourself real quick and what are we doing here?
absolutely. All right. So both you and I qualify as what is known as baby boomers. And
Which is
we
most
are
of our clients.
it is, it is. And there are people that are moving up into the age bracket that we also help. But baby boomers, by and large, we are such a unique bunch of people and a huge segment of the population that honestly, if you're not a baby boomer, you don't know. You don't know the things we've gone through. You don't know what it has been like to grow up for many of us, not having a television to start out with, and then fast forward to today where we've got like crazy technology that does all sorts of things. So, between Bruce, who's going to tell you how much broadcasting experience he's had, and myself, and I've been more heavily in the technology side of things, we're going to have a really fun and informative show that not only addresses our expertise, which happens to be in the financial sector, but really just how to really live a life that you love and how to stay happy doing it.
You know, it's like when people come into the office, one thing I notice is there are people that are very intentional. First of all, even what retirement is such a nebulous gray zone. You know, we get people in here, they'll never stop being productive. They'll never stop having the things that they're working and producing on, but maybe they don't have a job anymore. Maybe they haven't had a job in years. There's people, a lot of people that come in and they're finishing their job. So even what retirement is kind of a nebulous thing. But I'm finding more and more that the people that excite me as clients, the people I emulate, the people I look up to as clients are the ones that the adventure just goes on. They're moving on. And I would call that an intentional retirement. And then there's people that just end off work at the company and they're like, how did I get here? What do I do now? And we want to help those people. And and I'm doing this out of my own interest of like, you know, I want to look on future shows. I want to look at like who made their greatest leap forward after 65. You know, didn't I think Morgan Freeman or something, wasn't he already like in his 50s when he started acting career? I don't know. I could be totally wrong about that. But there's several people that have started major careers late in life. And I want to look at that. I just think it's very pertinent to retirement. I'm going to embarrass myself today and show you some old stuff. We want to reminisce a little bit because here's the thing. You and I agreed, like, I don't even think, like, we baby boomers still think we're kids. We still
Mhm.
think we're babies. We realize that there's a word that it was baby boomers. I think younger people have no idea of why there's a baby in the word baby boomers. They just think they're boomers. I think boomers is like, that's kind of like what happens to their guts when you get around them. You know, if they don't eat right, they start booming. Look out, they're kind of old, you know what's. So they're booming. I don't know.
Oh,
What
jeez.
what boomed? So we're gonna look at that on a video. Anything else you want to add to that? And I want to show this great uh, clip that we got from the History Channel that puts the baby boom in
Mhm.
perspective. It actually also names some challenges because one of the things I want to do on this show, Linda, we definitely have some challenges financially, lifestyle wise, health wise. So I want to address those challenges. I want to bring people in that we're going to do interviews with and have as guests that are going to be experts on some of these lifestyle challenges. This video that I'm going to bring on in a minute delineates some of those really, really well. But I don't like to commandeer everything, as you know. And since we work together, I have respect for. Might be time to let Linda say something.
Well, so my take on it is this. You never know in this next, call it the encore years, right? So the encore is coming back on stage and performing yet again for an adoring audience. But the thing that makes being a boomer a little bit tricky is you don't know how long the encore is going to last. So could be health, could be finances, it could be a lot of different things. So how do you plan for the encore? How is that? What if you are healthy and you live for 120 years? How do you plan for that? So those are some of the things that are good to address, because what I can say with certainty, and Bruce knows this is true, we all know this is true, is that along the way, our cadre of friends that have traveled these years with us starts to thin out. Some people don't make it. Some people that have been close to us perhaps are not with us today. So it's kind of like, okay, I got it. There's really good things and there are things that are sad. There's nostalgia that we really get and love, and it takes us right back. And then there's that future that's full of stuff that is, frankly, for a lot of people, it's a little bit scary because it's so unknown. We're going to help you navigate it all right here. And so, Bruce,
That's
over
great.
to you.
Well, we're going to reminisce for a minute, but let me ask you something, Linda. Would you happen to have an embarrassing picture of yourself as a baby, as a kid? I want to just talk about being kids again. This video, actually, let's go to the video. The video explains what the baby boom is, where it came from, and then you and I will share some embarrassing photos. And I'm going to embarrass my brother here. If you don't know, I'll cover this later. My brother is Robert B. Weide. He is the producer and director for the first 5 years of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. If you ever see the what do they call that when something's done over and over again on the internet? The meme, where some kid runs into a brick wall with his skateboard and goes bum bum bum, and it says directed by Robert B. Weide. Okay, that's my brother. He does not direct crash videos. He does not direct fail videos. They clipped that from a real TV show that he was involved with. But I have a funny little story I want to share about us as baby boomers, me and my brother growing up. But why don't we watch this video first? And then I'm going to let you lead off with an embarrassing photo.
I don't have any, Bruce, but go on.
You have one as a little kid. You as a little kid, right? You brought that, right?
I did. Let's watch the video, Bruce.
We're just not as grown up as we think. Here we go.
Rock and roll, civil rights, suburbia. These are some of the highlights of the baby boomer generation, a 2-decade explosion of children born in the years following World War II. To give you a better idea of why this generation is so important, here are 5 numbers that you should know. This is the number of people in the baby boomer generation born between 1946 and 1964. They were the largest generation in U.S. history at the time and represented nearly 40% of the population. Boomers grew up during the height of American prosperity, enjoying health, security, and consumer comforts never before seen in American history. This is the number of soldiers in the U.S. military that returned home after serving in World War II. They were eager to start families, hopeful that their children would enjoy a more prosperous America, filled with the ideals and morals they fought for overseas. This is the amount of money that American soldiers got when they came home from World War I. World War II vets had it way better, thanks to the GI Bill. The GI Bill was a piece of legislation that gave them the ability to attend college and buy a home, things that allowed them to be secure in starting a family. The helping hand provided by the GI Bill contributed to the rise of baby boomer prosperity. By the way, for those who don't know what GI stands for, it's government issue, and it was a nickname for American soldiers. This is the percentage of disposable income controlled by baby boomers in America today. And with all that dough to throw around, they're big spenders. And where does most of their money go? Towards travel, health, wellness, and pampering their pets. That's right. That money goes to dog haircuts. Haircuts for dogs. That's it. 2041. This is the year that the U.S. is expected to run out of money for Social Security, the federal program that provides financial benefits for retired people. Boomers are retiring in droves, meaning more people will be dependent on Social Security. It also means less workers in the labor force paying taxes to fund those benefits. 2041 is a long way off, though, and experts believe that raising the retirement age and changing Social Security structure can help save it. Baby boomers were one of the most influential generations in history. They changed American society and gave the next generations the cultural freedoms they enjoy. Without baby boomers, America wouldn't be as free or prosperous as it is today.
All right. So that's who we are, right? And there's a lot of reminiscing. I do want to say what I want to try to do with the show is certainly do some reminiscing, remember who we are, be proud of who we are. But he mentioned some things in there that are really, really key. And I really want to take time and bring experts in on these other things, which is we have challenges. Now, first of all, we have the opportunity. He talked about spending money for retirement, how much of the real cash flow we do still control. Although, yes, you have young tech billionaires and all of that. But, it's interesting. I'd like to dig up the stats sometime. If you took all the young billionaires off of tech and you take the baby boomers, which are more middle class, but more of us, I'm wondering who actually is dominant in terms of aspects of the economy. Something to look at. But I want to be focused in future episodes on travel, as he mentioned. That's what we're doing. Health and wellness. Any doctor that's in health and wellness. Hello, who do you think your target market really is?
Us.
I know. Think of the doctors we know. Where do you think their cash cow is? It ain't 30 and 40-year-olds. So that's a subject that we want to look at because we're very glued to that. And then these other subjects, these larger financial subjects, he talked about Social Security. He's not even touching on Medicare. He's not even touching on long-term care. So I think what we want to do, and I want to do in future episodes, is I want to take time to celebrate who we are. I want to look at our opportunity going into our encore of life. And like you said, it's an interesting thing. You get fewer do-overs. This would be an interesting concept. How many of our cohorts have messed up and messed up and messed up and messed up, and we've had time to get up, pick ourselves up, and start over again? And then you get to this age and you're like, I can't keep making that kind of mistake anymore.
No.
You get fewer do-overs. So we want to get good advice from people about how to get into this next part of the adventure. We want to look at the challenges. I'm looking at some notes here. Challenges, Social Security, Medicare, long-term care, financial planning, and all of that. Those are what we want to do on future shows. But we always want to start with having some fun about making fun of ourselves. Okay. So do you have a picture you want to share? We both agreed we're going to bring something to the table.
Yep. All right. So this is me and my three sisters. As you can see, my mother loved to dress us stylishly. And we were out on the Huntington Beach Pier. I grew up in Southern California, as did Bruce. Anyway, so I have many pictures like that, but that's not a horrible picture. That's just the way photos looked back then. Now, Bruce has some real gems to share. So I'm going to
I'll do
let you
that.
do
I'll
that
do
now.
that in a minute. But hey, I'm just curious. What was the first concert you ever went to?
Cream.
You saw the Cream?
Yeah. That was my first
Where?
one when I was 14. San Diego. I
Did you really?
know.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I never got to see them. I only saw the
Yeah.
later incarnations. I saw West, Bruce, and Lang. No, so
Mhm.
that was Jack Bruce. And then I think, oh, I saw very early on when Clapton did the whatever 459 Ocean Boulevard, front
Mm.
row at the Forum. Front
Wow.
row. And
Wow.
mind you, you know how I always go, Linda, can you talk up a little bit? Can I do that to you sometimes?
Mm.
You know who's to
Yeah.
blame for that?
No. Who?
Pete Townsend. Pete Townsend. Back the Who was like the first concert I ever saw was Rolling Stones,
Yeah.
and Ike and Tina Turner opened for him, and BB King opened for him, and a
Wow.
wonderful player named Terry Reid. That was the opening guy. And the Stones did two shows that night. They did a 7 o'clock, started at 7 with three opening acts. Then they went on. Then the opening acts came back and they had an 11 o'clock show, which God
Wow.
knows how late that went. And I was like
Mhm.
14, my brother brought me. But pretty soon, must have been my second or third show, I went to see Who's Next. There were no bouncers at Long Beach Arena. I'm like 15 years old. I go to my brother, I'm going to go walk up front. So I walk up front and I go like this with my arms up on the stage and Pete Townsend's speakers like right there.
Oh my God.
And they didn't have like overhead. These days they project into an arena with overhead speakers.
Yeah.
They were just uprights on the stage trying to fill Long Beach Arena and his speakers right here. And I swear my hearing has not been as good since. Now,
Wow.
you may have guessed that I went through, I had a slightly different, what's the word? Mock up appearance,
Yeah.
uh, personality. In fact, no, my personality is about the same. But let me share a picture with you really quick, just to embarrass myself. All right, so there I am. I think that was in the senior high school yearbook at Sunny Hills High School in 1974. I was a bass player in the band.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so there's me. Now,
That's actually a nice picture of you, by the way. I was just fake laughing because you actually look good in that, but you
I have
definitely have
another one I'll
different
share
hair.
later that was my senior picture, right?
Okay.
But this was in my senior year, and someone just took of me out on the athletic field, and that's about the longest my hair ever got.
Mm.
And I don't know what my parents thought. Oh my God. One day, because I like doing confessions, I like coming clean. One day, you and I are going to do like the worst thing we ever did as kids.
No,
Like
we're
that.
not.
I can't
No,
believe my parents ever forgave me for some of the
we're not
stunts
going
I
to
did.
go there.
No, no.
No.
Hey, it'll get listeners, you know? It's like people go, I want to hear Bruce's confession. It's going to get more eyeballs. What the heck? Um, anyway,
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, so I wanted to cover that. And
I'm going to share something really about how we really started this, which was my husband and I just
oh,
went to
yeah.
a concert, Los Lobos concert, and he was
Now,
just
now, I just want to say
wondering
one thing. Go back to Los
what
Lobos.
Los
Somewhere in
Lobos.
the 80s, I was on the campus of UC Irvine. And it was a college campus, and it was a new band. We're like, who's this band? They got some horns, they got some congas, they're very Mexican style music with rock guitar. And I just saw them at UCI in a college campus, and everybody was young, and I was young, and I happened to be visiting the campus that day, and there's a band playing, and it was Los Lobos before hardly anybody heard of it. So what's it like today?
What's it like today? So they are a band from East LA. If you're not familiar with them, you've heard their music for sure. They're unique because they have a mix of traditional Hispanic music, Spanish music, and rock and roll. And they're very creative, and they've literally been singing together for 51 years.
They're a
So
total
that's a lot.
quality act. They're
They
amazing.
are. Yeah. There were 6 guys on stage. It was actually interesting, but there were
So we're a bunch
6.
of kids in the audience, a bunch of long-haired hippie kids in the audience.
There were 6 old men on stage. 6 old men on stage. One guy looked like he was from
Wait,
East
did they
LA in the
replace Los
hood.
Lobos members with their old men? Los Lobos is
They're
not
old
old
men
men.
now. But
Okay.
what was even funnier was the crowd was all pretty much old. The vast majority of people were in their mid 60s to early 70s. And I looked at my husband and I said, honey, I think we're old. I think we've gotten old somewhere along the line. The thing was, the music was just as good as it always was. The crowd was just as much into it as they always were. It was as if their bodies moved along in time, but they, as people, did not. And, it's just an epiphany for me, which is this is my group. These are things that Bruce and I can really continue to help boomers and do it really, really well. And you'll find that if you come into our office or reach out to us, we are wonderful to work with. And because we understand. So, but moving on was I talked to Bruce and he said, hey, let's do a podcast. And I thought, that's genius. Let's do it.
Yeah, that was
So
a big
that's a
part of
little
the
story.
inspiration. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like I really want, I want our cohort to stop looking in the mirror. Clint Eastwood had a saying, "Don't let the old man in." That's how
Yeah.
somebody asked, how are you doing so well? He goes, "I just don't let the old man in." So I've certainly I've got my own wins on that I've had in my life, and we should bring in experts. We should talk about it, and I think there is no. I mean, you should just be having fun and doing well and celebrating life to the day you fall over. And if you can do the right health things, so standing maybe a decade or two longer than you thought, that's a great thing. That's important to know, but I also think you have to keep that spirit up. You have
Yes.
to, and the creativity up and the joy while you take care of the body. And those are the things I kind of want to cover in this podcast. And we'll also talk about money because because I have a license on my wall that says I can talk about it. We'll talk about that too. Can
And
I
we
tell
really are focused on helping you that way too. That is our
always,
emphasis
always. We'll
on
let the other experts
finances.
do the other stuff on the show. We'll handle the finance.
But on with the blackmail pictures. So you have one of your brother, I
Yeah, I should
understand.
blackmail my brother with this.
Mhm.
So let me bring up a couple things here on a screen share. This is the tab. If you look up my brother, Robert B. Weide, he's got a lot. He's done well in Hollywood. And I have to just say too, we were kids growing up in Fullerton, California, down in Orange County. What city were you in Orange County, Linda?
I was in Garden Grove,
I know it well.
which is, yep, which is also in Orange County. It's just a little north of Fullerton.
And you know what? These days, if you ever want a really good bowl of Vietnamese pho, go to Garden Grove or
Garden Grove.
Westminster and celebrate the culture. It's
That's
changed
right.
a bit. But here's Bob. But the thing you understand about me and Bob is that um, I I was a few years ahead of him. This is just a nerdy thing about Bob. I'm going to Led Zeppelin concerts. I'm going to Black Sabbath concerts. I'm going to Alice Cooper concerts. Bob would stay home and watch movies of the Marx Brothers. Okay.
Hey, and I
And
want to just mention something here.
uh-huh.
Your brother, your famous brother, just to get a picture of him is $375. I mean,
Oh, really? What?
seriously.
Oh, yeah,
Click
that's
on that
on
tab again.
oh, that's right. That's over here. Yeah, if you want to download a picture of him from Getty Images, you can pay 300. I don't think he gets a damn penny out of that, by the way. I don't know.
Really?
But
I'm just
here's
like,
some of his
seriously, that
no, yeah, he's done well.
pays to
And
be
here's his
famous.
movies.
Yeah.
He did a biography on Woody Allen for but it's interesting. Look at who his idols are. Skip the Larry David. Larry David was a cohort, a few years older than Bob, and Larry and him used to hang out in comedy clubs and knew each other before either one of them had any acclaim. And it's a long story, but they just were pals. They hit it off. Larry did Seinfeld for all those years, produced Seinfeld and directed it. And then when he was done, he was like, "Hey, I want to figure out what my next thing is. I'm going to do a fake mockumentary that I'm going back to stand up, which is the last thing Larry would do. Like, what do you do after you've made $220 million selling your show to syndication? Go out and stand up in nightclubs and tell comedy again? Like, yeah, let's pretend that that's what Larry's going to do." So they did a pilot. It became the show. But the other thing to Bob's credentials, and the point I want to mention is who his idols were versus who I was, and who mine were, and it did him well. He's done the seminal biography on Woody Allen for American Masters. How to Lose Friends and Alienate People were his pals. He got to do a video, got to do a whole show with him. I'm going to click on one of these, see what brings up. That was Simon Pegg, Jeff Bridges, what's her name? The girl, come on, Anyway.
I can't see her well. Anyway.
Oh, it's everybody knows her. And Naomi Fox or something, I think. So anyway, great cast. Him and Simon are great pals. So he got to do this. He did a series in England called Mr. Sloan. This was his first movie, the Marx Brothers in a nutshell. So he's watching Marx Brothers movies, right? And I'm going to Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath concert. I played bass in high school and then it was over. Bob kept it up, and he actually created a film treatment about the Marx Brothers, of the Marx Brothers history, put the treatment together, talked a few people associated with the Marx Brothers into speaking for the documentary, submitted it, and PBS said, "We like it. Let's run with it. We'll give you a budget to do it." It's a whole other story. He couldn't get the release from Universal. Eventually it came about. But this is where Bob started. Now, I just say that because it's just, here's me. I'm into all the icons of the baby boom. Bob was a little nerdy, but we grew up in Orange County. My dad sent him to USC, and he couldn't get in the film school. He couldn't even get in the film school. So he got a budget from PBS, and he got a way of putting the film together. He did it for Pledge Night and PBS. It was a huge winner. I think this was 1983, 1982. Bob was born 1959. Bob was 23 years old, and he produced this film and made PBS a ton of money. And after that, I won't say the world was his oyster, but it opened up. He did recently a seminal movie on Kurt Vonnegut, Unstuck in Time. You can find that on Amazon. Became very good friends with Lenny Bruce's mom and his girlfriend. And he's done quite a few other things here. The Giver, he wrote, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let's go back to the baby boom. Let's go back to that point in time. And I have a picture to share with you. Here's Bob. This is my little brother, Bobby. They did call him Bobby for many years. And this is right after he wrote an essay for about the Declaration of Independence, submitted it to the Daughters of the American Revolution, and he won. I didn't even know he was such a writer. I probably wonder what that, should have looked at it. But he wrote it, and he got a little award from the Daughters of the Revolution, and he did not get an award for those pants, but he should have. Those pants and boots, he totally should have. Now, the point is, like the baby boomers, 80 million. Okay, so there's 300 million people in this country. The point is, there's 300 million people in this country. The baby boomers are about 80 million of them. That's a large share of just one cohort. You've got Gen X after that, which, by the way, Gen X, you should be looking us up because we're going to be helping you soon. And then you've got, I don't know what's behind Gen X, Gen Z, and then you got millennials. So you have all these different cohorts, but we're a big, big piece of this. And I don't even think anybody outside our generation even understands why we were a baby boom. Linda, think about like when we went to school, the schools are just packed. How did you, like, did your parents let you walk to school?
Every day. Every day I
How,
walked to school, and every day I played after school with all my friends in the middle of the street. We all played outside in the middle of the street, and my parents just said to go away and come back for dinner. They didn't even ask where we were going.
how far did you have to walk to school?
Oh, I live pretty close to school, but growing up, so the first school that I went to, we moved into a fairly new neighborhood. So I had to go to one school until our school was built. Then, when it was built, it quickly became over too many kids going there because we all came in together.
Wow. So
And we grew up
the
in a
school was
time, yeah,
overpacked. They had to offload some of the kids
immediately.
elsewhere.
Yeah, immediately. And we grew up in a time, remember, they just kept opening different schools, like figuring out where the heck are we going to send all these kids
Yeah, they were
because there were
building.
so many of us. Yeah, that was
Yes.
exciting.
In fact, Bob was the first. I went to Ladera Vista Junior High in Fullerton, but they were building a new one up in Sunny Hills, another part of Fullerton. And Bob was there for the first year, was the first class president of Parks Junior High in Sunny Hills. And regarding that crowding, I just want to say some of my memories are I think my mom took me to kindergarten, sometimes in the car, sometimes not. I had to walk a mile through the neighborhood to get to school. It
Wow.
was a mile at
Mm.
least. And I walked every day starting in kindergarten. I don't think mom took me every day. I remember being in kindergarten the day that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I remember hearing from another kid, they killed President Kennedy. I'm like, that's like a sick joke. I don't want to hear about it and shut up. And I got down the hill, talked to the cross guard, and I go, did something happen to President Kennedy? And he went, yeah,
Mm.
they shot him
Mm.
dead. And I went, oh. And I walked back up the other hill, got home, and my mom was watching them either put his casket on the plane or take it off on the TV, and she was glued to the TV. And I vividly remember that. And the point was, all those years, I mean, I was 5 years old, then six, then seven, then eight, and we walked a mile to school. And no, I suppose maybe a few things happened, but generally we were left alone.
Nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah, I don't know about, I can't say 100% nothing ever happened to anybody. So I think we've talked enough about flashbacks here. Um,
Yeah.
what's different now? And let's just talk about
What
the
is different
future.
now? Well, there's a lot of stuff that's different now. We're older. For one thing, we're older. And for many of us, it is we used to work and now we're not working so much, or there's a job change. And that actually is a big change just on a personal level. But we live in a world that is advancing with a rapidity that's unbelievable. So compared to when we were younger and it took a while for the news to get out, and remember, like, we both grew up in California and things happen in California and they happen in New York. But then if you were in Indiana or Iowa or somewhere in the Midwest, remember all the movies started out with us and then they kind of wound up there. All the fashion, we got to see it first and then it all kind of meandered to the middle. Now it's little videos and everybody's doing that thing around the world. It's like a combustion of things happening. So, speed of technology, speed of fraud. How many people are trying to rip you off like literally every day? Speed of information getting leaked out. Big
Yeah,
change.
it's interesting. I don't know if it's peculiar to the time we are or what, but what I experience is, so I still have goals. I've got a lot to do. I'm 68.
Mhm.
I'm not leaving this office till I'm at least 75 or beyond. And I'm doing pretty good. And I wake up every morning and I love the work that we do. But I've said this to many friends. It seems like the older I get, the faster I have to move.
Mhm.
Like I don't have as much time. If I'm getting a new financial license I want to take care of. I'm opening up a new aspect of the business. Well, 15 years ago, I had 15 years to get to this point. Now it's like this stuff's got to get done in 1 or 2 years. Changes have to happen. And I don't know if it's the era that we live in, if it's peculiar because you and I are boomers that are not stopping. Like maybe if we retired, we'd be just going on a boat, going on trips, it'd be taking it easy, and we'd just be going, oh, I don't know how our days would look, but it certainly seems like um, the older I get, the faster I have to move.
Well, excuse me. I'll tell you something that I will be very interested in it as we go forward, Bruce, and that is sharing stories that other people have. One through our guests, excuse me, and our listeners. Y'all out there listening to us today have your own stories, and maybe you can identify with some of the things that Bruce and I are talking about, and maybe yours is really different. But what does unify us? One is we do all have similar challenges in staying happy, staying healthy, not giving up. Bruce is so right. And one of the things I love about him as a partner is we're really well matched on our best years are still to come. And
I
so in
think so.
order for, I know so,
I really think so.
but it,
Although
okay, good.
I loved raising my kids. I loved being a parent.
Yeah.
We had our challenges. I had my son Nathan was on a life support machine for a year and a half. So there was a
Right.
lot of adversity that happened during those years. I'm hoping the next ones are the best, but there were
Mhm.
some good ones back there.
Absolutely. I too am a parent, but creating the future that I want to continue to live into is definitely something where I know I I'm not backing off. Bruce definitely. You can tell Bruce is kind of like the Energizer bunny. The man just keeps going, and it's really fun because I get to hear the latest and greatest like, "Hey Linda, I just ran 3 miles
I did today.
before I came into the office." Yeah? Did you? I know.
You got to run. You got to stay alive. Hey, listen, on our next
Absolutely.
episode, there's a couple things I thought I'd get to today that I want to cover in the next episode. I think we've been rapping for a while. We've been
We have.
rapping, and that is I want to talk about some surveys there's a couple things I know that we have available we can do on future episodes. There's a survey done by MetLife Institute or something like that for retirement on what makes seniors secure in retirement. There were they asked seniors, do you feel comfortable and secure in your retirement? And out of the ones that said yes, they found five major reasons for that, five major things that had happened in their life that made them feel that they could securely retire. I want to talk about that. I think we should
Hmm.
do it on a future show.
Sure.
And I definitely want to talk about some other challenges, things to be prepared for.
Right.
Um, I'm going to bite my tongue and not go forward on saying a whole lot about them. I also do want to interview people that are really, maybe we get some old rock stars or something. And I mean, look at some of these rock stars. There's just people that don't quit. There's no reason to. I want to interview those people and get some inspiration from them. Talk one on one. Maybe once we get enough of by the way, like us, follow us, join up. Because as we get our numbers up, then we can do live streaming. I've got the gaming computer over here in the hookups where we can go live and we can bring guests onto this, and then the viewers can watch it at live in real time, and we can put the viewers on camera. They can ask questions of our guests. They can comment their questions and participate. So once we really have the numbers up on that, on this show, then I definitely want to go there. But next episode, just as a little teaser, we're going to cover the five major reasons that boomers who say they're totally comfortable in their retirement, the five leverages, the five things that they've done that make them say they're totally comfortable. And it's not what you think. It's not having
Ooh,
a ton of money. That's not what it is.
I like it. That's a great teaser. I cannot wait to find out what those 5 things are myself. All right,
Don't ask me
everybody.
all week. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Hey, you want to
So,
see how people can reach us and if they want to reach out, what we can do for them?
sure, the very next screen coming up has all of our contact information. But just so you know, you can comment in the comments here, and we will get right back to you on
We're
that.
going to try to respond to everything. People start commenting, we will comment back.
And some suggestions on what you would like help with or what you would like to hear in one of our upcoming episodes, especially if you're a boomer, that would be great. So, but for this first episode, thank you so much for joining us. And so we're going to say goodbye from me, Linda, and
Goodbye from me, Largo, Florida. And by the way, we also still practice. Have been a lifelong uh, Southern California resident, born and raised. I am back in Ventura County once a year for a few months. I get the heck out of Florida in the summer, go back to SoCal. So
yeah, me
we
too.
are going to have clients all over the country. We're doing some digital marketing, bring people all in. But we have a beautiful place in Largo. I love living here. I love California. Part of the joy of this time of life is I don't have kids to deal with. I get to move around. But come see us. We'd love to see if we could be of any help, and comment on the show and let us know what you think and give us your ideas about making it better.
Thank you so much. Bye.